So, with all that said and done, I am very glad to have with me tonight for this final session, Darling Creepshow, Kato, and Rachel. So let's get into it. Let's see what fate has in store for your characters. Last time we saw anybody, there was tragedy over at the Tremere Mansion as the Malkavian Father Dubois mind controlled the priest from Claudia's Day into attacking Fletcher. The power that was used on Fletcher is one that essentially turns a vampire human again, but not in a good way. What it does is that it turns the vampire human slowly over a short period of time, but it also catches up their age. So Fletcher's in a pretty bad spot right now. But before all of that happened, before the ritual where Elise, Fletcher, and Vico created a whole new bloodline by mixing their blood together and embracing some people, we saw Maud of Clan Ventru. You had gone to the Tremeres to kind of like you go see a doctor to get rid of a little irritating ache that you had. This little irritating ache was a blood bond that you had to your sire, Thomas Strathcona. You wanted that taken care of. You also wanted to have the oblary marks on your soul removed because you ate Thomas. You ate Redpath, Galen Redpath, the Ventru elder that was given to you on a silver platter by Kalome at the Black Pyramid before you helped Claudia escape. So before we see exactly what's going on, where we are at in the story, we're going to go back a little bit, and we'll go back and visit Maud after the ritual, which took a lot out of you. If you remember, you had taken some damage from the broken blood bond. It had left you in a bit of a bad shape. After the ritual itself, Fletcher helped you kind of get back together, would have certainly provided blood for you to drink, enough that you could heal one of the wounds. You could have healed one of the aggravated wounds if you want, and would have basically taken care of you until you were feeling ready to move on. You would have offered, if you wanted, to stay over at their house for the day. That would have been up to you if you decide to do that or if you wanted to leave. But tell us that, and tell us a little bit, Maud, what you did after the end of that ritual, and kind of what's your situation? Where's your mind at? Considering you have now broken the blood bond that you had to your sire, and managed to erase those marks of the Albury on your soul. Tell us a little bit what's going on with Maud.
May I begin with what a flashback that we are coming from. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, remind me, I was at 2 aggravated or
3?
It was a 3. Okay, just want to make sure because I was a terrible player and didn't mark down everything. Ha 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 ha. But yes,
so, yeah,
I would
so you
have...
kind of healed, and you were also at 4 hunger because it burned
Thank you.
your blood. Yeah, so they would have given you enough that you don't have to spend 1 to heal if you wanted. Like, they would have given you enough to heal. You can spend a willpower point, which you would have to do, and you can heal 1 aggravated per night. So you know that's kind of where you're at. You would have definitely have needed to. They would have had blood on hand, so you don't have to worry about the hunger, but definitely the wounds were and will still be there.
Sure. So baseline is then 2 aggravated damage, 1 willpower damage, and 1 hunger. Just want to make sure I understand where my head's at before we get into a narrative thing. Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, the headspace of breaking a bond like this, I mean, freedom by definition, right? The power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. You know, that feeling of snapping a blood bond is invigorating and emboldening and magnificent, especially one that you agreed to under the belief that it was to tie you with power or to elevate you. It makes me think of chess, right? A pawn moves across the board with the intention of reaching the other side and becoming whatever piece is necessary, right? A rook, a knight, a bishop. All of the moves that Mon has ever made. I don't know if she ever intended on shooting so high. I think she would have been fine with finding herself as a queen, but it just became too apparent, too fast, that the place that she was in required her to shoot for Prince. And I think she knows that even with this blood bond broken, she isn't really free. As a kindred, you're an immortal, indebted to your beast, and with the recent agreement with Calumet, whatever that means, she owes some kind of debt to her. But even the price of that agreement was the price to pay for the power needed to claim her praxis. So I feel as she left the chantry, she probably would have returned home. She found herself, again, shooting for the top of whatever this social hierarchy that we're all constantly fighting for in kindred societies, you know, the power to be prince, if that's what someone is looking for. I think despite that being her next goal, she feels like she's actually at the bottom of whatever grander power that she wishes to achieve. Goals that she still finds herself forming as she returns to her apartment that evening and begin a rest as she kind of contemplates what her conversation with Thomas will eventually be. But if he doesn't immediately come looking for her, I think she would definitely take the time to rest and definitely prepare herself for that conversation to the best of her ability, perhaps talking to Redpath, perhaps kind of getting some ducks in a row, like her own health to start.
I think that probably what happens then is early the next night, you would have gone home and done some thinking and kind of sorted yourself out a little bit. And then early the next night, just as you were coming to in bed, you would have heard Galen's voice saying, "You know he knows by now, right?"
Of course he knows by now.
You know it's not gonna take it lightly.
I didn't take it lightly when I decided to blood bond to him, so I don't imagine he would take it lightly either when I decide to remove it from myself without him knowing.
Not sure I get what your play is here. Do you really think that you have much in the way of opportunities without his backing?
Who says I don't have his backing?
Well, he's definitely going to be upset that you broke the bond, especially without talking to him about it.
I've been plenty upset with the things that he has done around me, blood bond or not. I think we can work it out, especially if he does love me like everyone is saying he does.
I'm sure he has some form of affection for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever tell you much about our relationship? How we came out together here in Montreal and how we formed our alliance?
You know, Galen, Perhaps if I had a better understanding of your relationship, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, all of this was old news, things that happened before you were likely even born as a human, so ancient history, as they say, but we've always been very close, Thomas and I, exceedingly close. Did you know, for example, and here as he speaks, you feel in your mind a little delight, like he's feeling very happy with him.
Ugh.
Did you know, for example, that Thomas, who had long been promised to a Ventru lord, was in fact stolen before the embrace? The innocent victim in a long-standing feud between two very old kindred.
Go on.
Thomas and I were very close. We met early on and became lovers almost immediately. This was again before even Annabelle. He attached himself to me, literally. He would regularly drain himself completely of blood and then drink mine to replace his several times a month, simply because in his mind he never ceased to be anything but Ventru. But he wasn't. That's right.
So,
you and the others before you, like Annabelle, who was not his child, just someone he took a really strong fancy to. You were his toys, his little marionettes. He's playing Pygmalion, fashioning you from raw material into these little tools he could use. You see, Thomas had been brought up a black man in a time when being a black man was even more difficult than it is today, if you can believe that. And he knew that in order to succeed, even in our immortal world, he would need a face that was different than his, or that it would at least be better if there was somebody else representing him, someone that he, of course, controlled. And so, you, Annabelle, others before Annabelle, his little creations. And now you're about to go confront him about this broken blood bond. And now Kalome has evidence of you doing what you did to me.
mm-hmm.
She is going to try to control you. Thomas sees nothing in you but something to control. He's not likely to let you break in the blood bond slide. You can always console yourself, Maud, with the thought that you never really had a choice. You were never really smart enough or talented enough or savvy enough to accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish. In his hands, at least, you had a chance. I don't agree with what he did. Let's get that out in front of us. But in all honesty, Mon, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to you. Your destiny was certainly to be married to someone who cared even less about you, to provide heirs, and to stay home drowning in want and melancholy and laudanum, and never knowing the fierce joys of this world's pleasures, the rewards of success and accomplishment. Now, at least, you can dine at the finest tables, live in the highest penthouses, order men and women to do your bidding. You may even sit on the throne of this city if Thomas has his way. That was his goal. It was his goal with Annabelle, even though she wasn't his child, or she betrayed him for the Sabbat, however, and so he had to start again, but this time with his own blood. Built-in subservience. And honestly, that's more than you could have ever dreamt of. If I was you, I would take it and be happy for it. The other options are less appealing.
Take what and be happy for it?
What he's going to offer you.
What, Prince? Bonding myself?
Whatever he offers you at this point, who knows? He may be angry enough to just figure that it's worth starting over.
Interesting. Now, just in case I'm missing something, you said that he wasn't a Ventru?
Wasn't, isn't, and guess what that means for you?
Either I am not a Ventru, or I am...
Oh, you're definitely his child.
Okay. Are we going to play guessing games, or are you just going to be outright with what you're trying to say to me?
You'll have to ask him. He has never told me what his true bloodline is. But I thought you deserved to know this, perhaps as ammunition on the way in to talk to him. I mean, he's wronged you in so many ways. Some might be inclined to think that this is just one more way he wronged you, but to me, that is one of the worst things he's done to you. And I want to make sure you're nice and angry when you get in there. Because I am where I am now because of what he's done. And I can't do much about it, but I can look through your eyes. And I'm hoping to see something that makes me happy.
You're getting to the part where I want to tune you out again. Not that that's hard for you to achieve.
I have given you more truth since you did what you did to me than anybody else has given you in decades.
I'm aware, which only tells me that I need to be more actionable in this direction. Do you want more friends?
Doesn't matter to me where I'm at. You
obviously
need friends.
I don't need anybody.
We'll see. Show me.
I have nothing to prove to you. You're my pet.
I look forward to watching the scene unfold.
Wonderful.
What do you do?
This being a new day, am I able to heal another aggravated?
Yeah, it's going to cost you 3 hunger and 1 willpower.
Meaning 3 rouse checks?
Actually, to be perfectly honest, it's only 1 rouse check. I keep mixing the old system and the new one. The rouse check and a willpower.
Okay. Well, I passed my rouse check, but I will take the willpower. Just to keep myself accountable, I also did the rouse check for the day. Still pass, but, you know, fun. Then in that case, should I just show up to Thomas's place, or what makes it more interesting?
Up to you. Just if you prepare or do anything beforehand, let me know. But otherwise, if you just want to show up at his place.
There's also something about a home field advantage that I feel might be advantageous in this kind of situation. Yeah, I think I'll call him.
Okay.
Or is it like worse to like send a text? Oh, modern socialism's like, what do we do? What is the most insulting?
He's a venture. He probably doesn't. He's an old school venture. He probably doesn't have text.
I mean, is he a venture? Wannabe?
What do you do?
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out right here.
How do you contact him? Or do you just go over? Yeah, he's still on Facebook.
Yeah, he's on Facebook. I'll send him a Facebook message. Yeah, poke on Facebook. I think I would like to bring him here.
Okay. We'll see how that works out. Meanwhile, dilating time, because we can.
In the future.
Dilating time because we can. Fiona, last time we saw you, you had gone into the underworld with Elise and the others to rescue Tristan with Desmond, and had encountered the Rat King in full-on wassail, and had taken care of that particular situation. You had returned home and eventually had found Tristan, as Desmond had promised to bring you Tristan. You interrogated Tristan about his being the enfant terrible, had discovered some information about that, but then as you were dealing with Claudia, he ran off on you. Since then, and it's only been a few nights, even though it's been several weeks out of game. In game, it's only been a couple nights. What have you been doing? What's been going on with you, and where is your head at these days, Fiona?
You're muted. The amount of muting I have to do these days, I swear to God. There's been a lot of hours spent at my desk, mulling things over. Sort of like Charlie Day in the background with like the red strings and trying to connect all the dots. And thinking about the city on the whole. Just how she's limping along, this kind of sad wretch. Not what she used to be, and not what I remembered her. A lot of tinkering with time, but only just practicing. I've all but given up on the Tristan tale. Keeping an ear out for Margot at all times, seeing if she'll ever come back about it. But
word has been sparse. There seems to be a kind of quiet the city. Kind of a sense of things are waiting for something to happen, like waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of thing. Things have been too quiet almost, you would say. You've, as much as anybody else, felt the earthquake that played out a few nights ago, that apparently was centered around where the pyramid is. But there's not been much in a sense of news since then. You've been focused on your influences, your mortal affairs, getting this new bar that you're running and everything else kind of in order. And you haven't heard from Elise or any of the others either. So you probably are feeling a little bit isolated, maybe. Feeling like time's moving on around you and you're barely able to get a handle on it. But on this night, as you are closing up, in fact, you have closed up and you're busy sort of just making sure that all the taps are turned off and the place is not going to go down in flames. You walk into the main area of the bar to see Irene, your sire, sitting at the bar. She's poured herself a whiskey and is swirling it in her glass and looking at you.
Well, well, well. I see you don't skimp, taking it from the top shelf, eh?
I mean, when you get to the point that we're at, why settle for the lesser fare? I think we've deserved a little bit of luxury.
Certainly, and the fact that it's on my dime doesn't make a difference to you anyway.
Just money. There are currencies that are so much more important than this thing, even though the humans will actually go to war, nations against nations, for it, and exploit the weaker and the more downtrodden amongst them for it. Money is an illusion. What we're after is much more potent.
Well, I certainly understand that. I've also spent the better part of 60 years protecting this city and protecting them that don't have as much as them that do, so forgive me for being a bit prickly about it. That, and I haven't seen your face around. You come in teaching me all these fantastical tricks about time and how it's a soup or a flat circle or whatever you want to call it, but why are you here, Irene?
I'm here because time is in fact moving very quickly. Things have been progressing much faster than we anticipated, and I think that it's time. I told you a few things. You've made a good point here about the time you've spent caring for this city, and, well, there are decisions for you to make now, and they are coming sooner than I would have liked, but as you well know, time may be manipulated, but it can't be stopped, and in light of this attachment you have to the city, I feel it would be best for me to get a sense of where your true loyalties lie before the time for the test comes. Have a seat. Have a drink with me.
Sure. And I reach down below the bar and I unlock a cabinet and I pull out an even better bottle of whiskey and I pour myself 2 fingers worth and I sit down next door.
Cheeky. Very cheeky.
I know what I like.
Fiona, I've told you that the true Bruja have a sense of duty about us. We feel been saddled with a very difficult task, but it's one that only we can see through because it demands logic and dispassion in order to succeed. By now I'm sure you're aware that Gehenna is not a myth. It's ravaging the night in the east and it's coming to these shores. Sooner rather than later, we, the true Bruja, are the ones who remember the past, and we are also the custodian of the future. There's a very ancient one who long, long ago fled the machinations of his brood to find refuge in a land untouched by any of his kind. He's very old, and if our estimation is correct, is in fact the eldest of us all.
Go on. I'm listening.
You spoke very briefly and obliquely about encountering a presence deep below the city on one of your recent ventures, one of your recent jaunts down in the underworld. This resting elder calls himself the Saint. It's difficult to speak of these things because they're so mythical and hard to believe even for those of us who have been involved in this and following this for many, many centuries. But we believe that if this kindred really is who we think he is, that if we bring him back to Enoch with us, that we might, just might, be able to exchange him to the antediluvians and the other ancient ones who have risen in order to barter for them to let Enoch stand and us live, so that once they have sated their thirst on all that remain here and have themselves disappeared because there is nothing left for them to feed on, that we might rebuild behind them.
True cleaners is what you're saying. Hide out in the bomb shelter, wait until everybody's dead, and then come in like some fucking plague doctors and clean up, rebuild. What? In your image? Is that what you're wanting, Irene?
It's not a question of ego, it's a question of the biggest problem the humans face regularly in this world is their passions inflame too easily, and they come to disagreements and into conflict because of it. A new civilization built on order and logic would thrive, or at least have a better chance of thriving. And one that is built by us, rather than one that has us inflicted upon it, might be better. The things in Enoch have been better than here, simply because we are the only ones who inhabited, us and the rest of the Talmahera who think like us. If we bring this saint with us, and if he is who we believe he is, in the antediluvians accept our bargain, it will give us a chance to try to make it right. And perhaps we'll fail. That is possible. But it can't be worse than it is right now. Can it?
Well, you're right that everything does seem to be going to hell in a handbasket. Fiona picks up her glass and heads to the window to look out. What time of year is it?
Sorry, now that I'm muting myself to the correct place. Same as now, getting on to close to winter.
I watch the snow fall. I see some folks hustling along on the sidewalk, trying not to slip. I see a man hunkering down in a jacket, laying on the sidewalk, trying to find some cover from the snow, and I glance around. It's all falling apart, isn't it? It's all been falling apart. It feels like trying to stop a dam from breaking with duct tape. Every other moment is just, well, there's some other fight. At a certain point you wonder, what's it all worth?
It's worth exactly what you want it to be worth. If you think this is a place that you want to fight for, then you do that. But everything they have spoken about came true. There are kindred now in this city who are of thin blood and run around during the day. Lilith, it is said, has returned. This saint is possibly Dark Father. The Ancient Ones have arisen. Gehenna has become everything we thought was prophecy, myth, overblown histories and fear-mongering has turned out to be true. And logically, there is only one thing left to do, and that's to try and save those worth more saving so that we might get a better kick at the can the second time around. And what we need to know is whether or not you feel you can be with your family now, your blood, or whether you have other interests.
I understand. Merely making observations about the city and admitting that I feel like it's some sort of a losing battle. So, you need this saint.
Do you think you can find a place again where you and the others heard him? If you could find that place again, we could move in there together and try to take him unawares.
Certainly, I imagine I could find it. Something like a spidey sense went off when I got in there. It's like stumbling in on your granddad taking a nap. It's but a lot more unsettling.
That brought back a lot of unpleasant memories. If you want to think on it, I'll return tomorrow, and if you are willing to stand with us, then we can get this done.
I raise my glass and I say, how about you give me the night? We'll finish our drinks, have a little chat, come back tomorrow, and we'll sort this out, right?
You know the thing that's great about Enoch, where we live and where you might come home to if you want?
Do tell, Irene.
Day and night makes no difference. You're free to move about whenever and wherever you like.
Now, isn't that a lovely thought? A little bit of freedom and family. It's been a long time since I've had that.
And while the two of you share a few drinks and chat around into the night time, seeming strangely to stop and stretch and give you space, interestingly enough, we move ahead a little bit and return to the mansion that is home to some of the Tremiers of the city, namely Fletcher and Elise and their, what we call them, their brood. Elise, after the attack on Fletcher, you have watched him progressively grow older and progressively, strangely enough, turn human. He has never heard of such a thing, but Desmond is there with you, and being the person who founded the Order of the Gladius Day, has been able to explain to you that the way the power works, while it feels like an attack from the sun, what it really does is that it removes the curse. God inflicted the curse, and so God can remove it, but in removing it, time catches up. And so Fletcher is slowly becoming human again, because his own sense of empathy was very high, and because he was very old, it's taken a little bit of time, but you can clearly see the effects on him. He is weakened, and while he has not completely changed and is still kindred, Desmond has told you that there is no escape from this power. It will essentially, in a matter of hours or nights at best, kill him. Vico has been taking care of Marjolaine and the others so that you don't have to worry about that. They've been training her and the others that have been turned using the blood that you created, so that they can take their first steps out. But what has Elise been doing in this time since the attack on Fletcher, and what is going on with her and in her mind?
Elise would have had the people of the house help her to move him into her private room with Fletcher, which is beautifully Baroque in inspiration, dark wood and rich red velvets, and a wonderfully carved canopy bed with thick draping. She would have had him placed in the bed there, the curtains mostly drawn to protect him, all aside from one that's parted, and she has had her favorite sitting chair moved there. In the passing days, she has not moved from that spot. She has not ate. She has spoke to no one but the brief moments of speaking to Desmond and his explanations to Vico, who assured her he was taking care of the house and their affairs. The only other person that has heard her utter a single word is Fletcher, and she sits at his side and whispers into his ear softly, as to not disturb him too much. She knows that he's in pain. She speaks to him of memories lived decades ago, of the best moments, the highest moments of their life. And she weeps. She has slowly drifted back to that sad, mourning woman that she had become after the death of Maria, after the death of Faraday. But those were fleeting moments in time. She allowed herself little moments to observe those deaths, but now she is watching this death in real time, and she knows that there's nothing that she can do, and in this moment she can't hold her promise with Fletcher, and that is eating her alive. So she sits at his bedside and she does everything she can to console him.
I think you find him to be quite melancholy, but there's a quiet acceptance, especially after Desmond has explained the situation. There's kind of a quiet acceptance that has come over Fletcher. He's certainly able to move and to talk and to do things. He has been very obsessed with revisiting certain things, revisiting pieces of art, revisiting certain writings, certain music, he will, in the middle of a sentence or even just in the middle of contemplation, suddenly ask for something to be brought to him. And as you contemplate what comes next, as always, seemingly able to kind of read your mind, he'll reach out and tuck your hair behind your ear and say, strange thing about what's happening is that it's given me even greater compassion for the humans. I feel like I know what they feel now. I fear death in a way beyond what I felt in the past several hundred years. For the first time, it feels real in my flesh, in my bones, in my marrow. I've done so much, Elise. So much, yet all I can think about is all the things I haven't done and that I'll miss out on. And this is not something I ever thought I would have to contend with.
I don't know how I'll go on without you, honestly. It will be an unbearable suffering.
I keep trying to tell myself that it's time to look back on what we did have rather than what we'll miss, and I can say for certain that the only things I certainly do not regret is every second spent with you, but there are a few secrets in this house that you should learn of before things progress. The jeweled cups that we reserved for our guests. And I'm telling you this now because I know your mind and I know what's going to happen once I'm gone. And I want you to think about this carefully. The gems in those cups had an ancient ritual placed on them. Translated is called engaging the vessel of transference. Every kindred who has visited us and touched a door handle or a cup has had some of their blood exchanged for a small portion of mine. All their blood is kept safe in the freezer downstairs, in clay jars sealed with wax and protected by a ritual. Ask Louvain, the major domo. He knows how to get to them. I've also left behind another gift for you. Grimoire of sorts with hand copies of every ritual I know. Louvain can give it to you. One of the rituals in that book is called Blood Mastery. This is what you need to know about. With this ritual, Elise, you can use another kindred's blood against them. The vials are clearly labeled. There's not a lot of the blood, but enough. But you have to use it wisely. And you can never let anyone know of this. They would storm this place and burn it and you to the ground. It should be your most closely guarded secret. That's why I never told you, and I never told Jeanne or Primogen either. The ritual is one of the prime reasons other clans fear us and hate us. The ritual to preserve the blood is also in the grimoire. We had a dream, Elise. That dream existed before us, and will exist after I'm gone. I know you feel betrayed, and that there's a deep hurt in your heart, but I've been thinking about this, and I feel that only one person is deserving of that hurt, of the worst that Elise Osman has to give, The rest of the world still deserves sweet Elise. Take this hurt. Take this betrayal, keep it safe in the darkest part of your heart. Allow the years to dull its sharpness, but never forget it. And some night, down the line, an opportunity will present itself. And remember, at least, that we are Tremere, made of our own hand. We chose this life, the rest were cursed with it. We control it, and they suffer it. So promise me one thing. That you will live well. That you will live well until the moment comes, and that you will live well after. Your life is full of the kind of pleasures and joys the self-martyrizing can never know. And that is your best revenge.
It will be hard without you. Without seeing your face each evening. Not resting with you. Not coming in on your studies. Lounging about your desk and being a nuisance. I shall be empty for a long time.
That's why you have to do what you promised me you would do. You have to take me so that I may be with you, and I may stay with you for as long as possible. And I know it's a dark, terrible thing that I'm asking of you, but
will it be the same now that you're human?
It's the only thing that makes me wonder. I'm still as I was, but I find that, and you notice, at least, that for the past few minutes, he's been breathing. We'll have to act quickly before this continues and gets any worse. We should ask Desmond how much time we have. We should do this as soon as possible.
Places a cold hand on his chest. I believe it's too late. Can you not feel the air filling your lungs? Is it so foreign to you that you can hardly remember it?
Incredible. Even after nearly 700 years. The instinct was still there. The reflex was still there. At least it's...
If I cannot have you as I should, then...
You don't understand. It's gone. That... I had not even realized how constant that hunger was. It's gone. I don't feel it anymore, at least. It's... God, it took so much place, and I'd become barely aware of it. This is what we wanted. This peace. This peace. And his eyes close, and his breathing gets deeper and slower and more rhythmic. And you realize he's sleeping.
She stands from the bedside, moves across the room to a drawer, and inside of it there's a pair of shears
She pulls them out, approaches him again as he's sleeping, softly, quietly, curls up onto the bed next to him, and she'll undo his trousers, pull them back some until she sees the tufts of his hair. She gathers one of those tufts and one clean snip. She pulls a locket out from around her neck, places that little bit of hair inside of it, and then curls up next to him on the bed, the shears still in her hands, and closes her eyes and listens to his slow, rhythmic breathing.
And his heartbeat, which is something you realize you've never heard before. After all these centuries together, this is something new. There's a quiet knock at the door. Please, it's Desmond. Sorry to interrupt you, but Fiona's here. She has asked to see you. I explained to her what happened. I told her what's going on, but she wanted me to ask you if you would speak with her shortly.
Bring her here. I can't leave him.
Desmond comes back for you at the door, Fiona, and he says, I've explained to them what's happening, that it's a matter of hours, probably at this point, before he's fully human again, but by then his age will have caught up to him and he'll be gone. She's with him now. I don't know exactly what the situation is. We've been given them, of course, space to just be with each other, but I expect that he might be able to see the dawn tomorrow for the first time in however many years he's been around, but he probably won't last much longer than that.
I understand. We've got time enough yet.
And he'll bring you to a room and he'll knock softly and he'll open the door and he'll say, whenever you need to go, just step out.
Thank you.
Come in.
Hello there, Dove.
Oh, Fiona.
You'll see she's still curled up next to him on the bed, and next to where they are, there's this very beautiful, ornate chair just pushed all the way up against the bed.
Please have a seat. Sorry I can't be more welcoming.
No need. Hey, Fletch.
You're muted, Bleak.
Interestingly, you notice that Fletcher appears to be lightly snoring in his sleep.
Ah. I understand. When did that happen?
Only just now, a few moments ago. He didn't even realize that he was breathing.
Odd sort of thing, that. One thing to go from living to dead, but from dead to alive, that's another thing entirely.
Yeah. To what do I owe the pleasure, Fiona?
Well, I had a spot of business, but quite frankly, this takes precedent.
Business?
Right, I had some questions about the saint. That creature, elder, I don't even know what it is living under the metro. The one we encountered right before you had a run-in.
The one who sleeps under the earth, yes, I know who you're speaking of.
Well, I'd like to gather some more information from you. But... well, it doesn't hardly seem like the time.
I don't know if any time will be the time, if I'm being honest, Fiona. So go ahead. You're not hurting my feelings.
I lean in on with my elbows on my knees and I say, would you like some time? Time with him.
I would. Actually.
Then I'll make you a deal. I can help out your boy here. But you have to make the choice on how.
Also, help him.
Well, see, I've been doing a bit of studying with my sire, and I've come to learn that time is more malleable than we think. If you'd like, I can turn back the clock. If you say this only happened just recently, I can buy you an hour. You can have an hour with him. He'd be, well, he'd be kindred, not human, in that hour. Or... well, it's not gonna stop him from dying. But it gives you an hour to make a choice. Or I can put him in a state, a stasis, a sort of demi-sleep. And it'll prevent him from turning any further than he has. Maybe there's some sort of something you could find in one of your leather tomes that could reverse what's been done.
And what do you need from me, Fiona?
Information. I got presented with a strange offer. I just would like to know... I would like to know what you know about the saint, and maybe this possibility that he might be Cain.
Cain?
That's right. Big Daddy himself.
I don't know much about him. I know that he's a deceiver. I know that he's mad. That he's been under this city for a very long time. That he likes to speak in riddles. He talks about Enoch and some clan coming after him. He's very dangerous, Fiona.
Did
Do you plan to seek him out?
No, I don't as such. But I think there are others what do. Others what want to get their hands on him. And I get the sense that if you're telling me the truth about what is living under the city, then taking him back to Enoch is going to be the exact wrong move. Is that right?
The earth here has poisoned him. Whatever curse is here, the thing that me and Fletcher had planned to cleanse, it slowly poisoned the city. It poisoned the young woman Calumet, Trozichel's lover. She's built that hideous pyramid and she hides in the bottom of it, making foul promises to people. She's poisoned, or it's poisoned the saint. He's unwell. He has visions of turning the city into a landscape of fire.
Well, fuck.
He's not entirely unreasonable, but that is whether he can be trusted or not. I bargained with him. He dragged me down to his lair through the soil. Have you ever passed through soil, sunk through it like sand? It's very strange. And down there he gave me time. He gave me time to fix things, to heal the city, to cleanse the curse, but...
And her eyes drift back over her shoulder to Fletcher, whose snoring kicks up a little.
He told me that I would probably have problems. Time destroys everything, doesn't it?
That it does.
He gave me a few days before he decided to rain fire and brimstone down on this city, so there's still a few days left there, I assume, at least one. But he's very dangerous, Fiona, and he's not to be trusted, and he's sick.
Now, why would people believe that he's Cain? Why would they believe that he's some sort of power to be wielded if he is this corrupted?
I don't know. He's very powerful, though. Very powerful indeed. He seems flippant in his opinions and the things he says, so perhaps people think that they can control his mind, but how much of a person's mind can you really control?
Well, ideally none. But kindred have this nasty habit of thinking that they're smarter than Cain, but I don't always think that's the case. You see Fiona's face get very distant. Did I ever tell you about my time in New York?
I don't believe you have.
Well, that's where I was first embraced. You see, I was one of the workers at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. Maybe you've heard of it. Very famous garment making factory. And I was in the building, and someone, I believe they stubbed out a cigarette in a trash can. I don't know how much you know about textiles, but back then everything was natural fibers. And you've got fuel and you've got heat. All you need is oxygen. The whole place caught fire. Went up like kindling. It happened so fast. And our bosses, brilliant businessmen, to prevent us from sneaking out and having smoke breaks or taking too long of a lunch, would lock us in on the floor. Now we were all clamoring and scrabbling for the one exit that we could see, but I did know about a second one. I thought it might be worth it to try. So I shouted, "Come with me," and a fair few followed. I made my way down. I pressed on the door and it gave. And there was a rush of air and light and the smell of the outside, but as soon as it happened, remember that whole fuel and heat and oxygen. Well, the backdraft blew me right out. I landed in the street. Skinned my face so badly it was down to the bone. Everyone else who was behind me didn't make it. people leaping out of the windows, trying to get caught by their friends. It's one of the most devastating things that New York had seen at that time. Did change fire codes. And it did result in me meeting Irene. You see, I had before said that I just witnessed the fire, but I didn't really want to own the fact that I was responsible for some people dying, and then here I am, in the year of our Lord 2025.
You did the best that you could, Fiona. That's what sets you apart from your bosses, from the monsters. I think that there is so much good inside of you. You're only a monster if you choose to be.
I suppose I need to know what exactly a monstrous act would look like at this point, knowing what we know.
I think she sits up a little more and kind of crawls forward on the bed. She splays her hand out on your chest where your heart would be. And I would like to use Scry the Soul on Fiona.
Go for it.
A rouse check, which, ooh, we love those. It's a success. Oh god. And beep boop. Do the thing.
That's 3 successes. Boop, boop.
Is this something she would resist or could relent on?
It's versus composure subterfuge. So yes.
Unless you wish to relent, Fiona. If not, composure plus subterfuge.
I'm relenting.
Oh yeah, so you can ask the number of questions equal to the number of successes.
Yeah, I only want to ask 2 questions. One, Fiona's current emotional state. And I think that's it, really. That's all.
Deeply conflicted, melancholic, concerned. Yet hopeful.
I'm going to interject here a little bit to say that you see all these emotions, Elise, but it's like, you know, when you turn the transparency up on something, on some digital art, where you can start kind of seeing through it. It's like that. Like, those emotions are there. You can see they're there. You can see the magnitude of them, but they are almost transparent, and you kind of feel like there's something about her that is separating her from her emotions. Some kind of film or veil or something that just kind of seeps in and seems to be disconnecting her from these emotions, even though they're fully there. They seem to not be connect into her as much as they should.
Fiona,
Yes, my dove.
what do you hope for?
I sound like fucking Miss Universe right now, but the truth of it is I hope for a better place. For all of us. A place that's not so rotted and full of bullshit. You live as long as we do, and it all comes down to who hates who more and who can vie for the most power. And it just deepens and deepens and deepens and deepens until there's a hole in the earth filled with pestilence. And I hope that someday we can all just live a little.
Elise leans forward and presses her forehead against Fiona's.
I don't think there's a monster inside of you, Fiona. I think there's something very beautiful in there. And I can see it, even if you can't always.
Thanks, love. How about
Yeah.
your sire?
I think I would like to see him for a little bit longer. To turn back that time. Just another hour.
Of course. What you do with him after that is up to you.
Do you need anything else from me?
I only ask if you know where I could find the saint.
The tunnels under the city.
And she gets up and finds a bit of parchment in the room. This is an artist's house. There's always parchment and a pen. But you see, like, it's not like a regular writing pen. Like, this bitch has, like, fountain pens and little ink wells and stuff. And she sets to work drawing you a map to find him. And as she's drawing, you hear her kind of mumbling to herself,
I'm not always the best at descriptions. But I can always show somebody, you know. Fletcher said that sometimes I have a tendency to talk in circles. So.
She's just like scribbling on this paper as she's talking. And eventually she'll stand up and hand you a map.
Thanks again.
Be safe, Fiona. Please.
Don't worry. They should be more scared of me.
Good.
Now, let me get you some proper time together, yeah?
Thank you.
Of course.
And she like grabs you and just gives you the deepest, strongest hug that her little body can offer with her one strength. I mean, it's like a child clinging to a tree, but she's doing her best. And she whispers in your ear,
You don't know what you've done for me.
Well, we gotta stick together. And I think that this is the first hug that I've had in a very long time.
Hugging is good for you, Fiona. You should hug more.
Yeah. Don't get me too soft, alright?
Okay, well, if you ever need a hug, you know where to find me.
and she like takes a few steps back to let you work.
Right, well, sorry to wake you up, mate, but you got some canoodling to do.
And as you canoodle, which I don't think that word means what you think it means. As you canoodle with Fletcher, we travel across the city to... Did you stay at home? Did you drive over? What did you do in the end? What did you decide to do, Maud, in this particular instance?
I stayed at home. I will say prepped. And I think I would give him the respect of a phone call.
I did want to say thank you to Patrick and Varl for the gifted subs. Sorry, I saw that go by during the RP, but the RP. Before we get going on some more RP here, I will slide that in there. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate your support. You're the best. You pick up the phone and you call, and he picks up almost right away, and he says, I wasn't sure if you were going to call or simply disappear. I'm glad you called.
I want you to come over.
Oh. And exactly what for?
I wish to see you.
You know I'm aware of what you've done, right?
Of course.
I assume you have a reasonable explanation.
I believe the conversation is best held in person, which is why I'm calling you to come over. Will you speak to me? Wonderful.
And he hangs up. You know it's going to take him probably about 30 minutes or so to get there. Is there anything you would like to do in that time?
I feel like Maud would, if the place is all set to the way that she wants it, which she would have done before calling him. No, I think, honestly, in the most, I don't know if it's stereotypical or tropey kind of fashion, I think she knows where his haven is. And I think she would look out her window in the direction of the building and find the car as it drives up to her building and just continue to look out that window and just hold herself in thought until he came to her door.
It takes about 30 minutes.
She's okay with that.
Sit by the window. Sorry?
I said she has time.
You sit by the window and watch outside. It's, by this point, somewhere in November in Montreal, and whilst these days you don't know if that means you're going to get a snowstorm or unseasonably warm weather, what you're getting right now is just this cool, crisp air that's just below the freezing point. There's a little bit of snow and ice on the ground, enough to catch some of the moonlight and the street lights and reflect it a little bit and give the entire kind of darker aspect of the city a little bit of a glitter. People are moving very quickly, hurrying. It's cold enough that no one lingers outside, and it's given the streets this kind of strange empty feeling. And you do not miss the dark tinted windowed SUV that turns the corner and stops in front of your building. Someone, the doorman, comes out. The driver steps out, goes to the back, opens the door, and you see your sire step out. And for the first time in a very long time, you don't have the blood bond. And so watching him arrive is a strange experience. And I would liken it to, and I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, but there's this particular feeling you get when you have been deeply emotionally involved with someone and then you get over them because time, space, etc. But then you run into them again and suddenly there's that flush of some of those older feelings that come back, and they're a little muted because time has gone by and you're obviously not feeling the same way again, but that level of familiarity is there, and you feel that when you see him. You feel the difference though with the bond gone. And what I'm interested in here, Maud, is what do you think is left behind? Because if you're in love with him, even with the bond gone, that would still be there. So what is the remaining feeling now that the bond, that artificial connection and love is gone? What does Maud notice at this point is left behind?
The thing that Maud saw in Thomas a long time ago, after she was embraced, but as she started to feel for him, was herself. She didn't expect that. She didn't expect to find herself in a black man when she was this white woman. But the kinship between them, she thought was beautiful. Two different perspectives of the same coin. This oppressive world around them. Both of them seeing things completely differently, but together she felt their power. And that's what the love felt like for her. I feel warm, which is odd because the blood bond is what makes you feel that infatuation and that deep sense of connection, but despite our age and our time away from life, which she never knew him in life, that warmth is what she feels. It's a fire. It's small, but it's powerful. And now all she feels is she wants to just take it for herself. Because the absence from that previous feeling is sad. Very sad.
You're drawn from this reverie by the knock at your door. You realize that you sort of lost yourself there, and in that time he's had enough time to ride the elevator all the way up to your floor and walk to the door. The truck is still outside. It's running, but he's parked him. The driver has parked in a manner that tells you that he doesn't expect to be leaving soon, but he needs to be ready to leave at any point in time. So Thomas is leaving all his options open. And then that knock comes at the door.
I go to open it.
You open the door and he's standing there and he looks at you and he says, I thought there'd be a different feeling to seeing you again with the bond gone, but to be honest, the difference is barely discernible.
Come on in. And I gesture.
He walks in, takes his coat off,
You know, I thought you would be more aggressive.
You know I don't make a move until I have all the information, and I'm lacking a lot of information right now. So I figured neutral was best. I figured
well.
I would learn what I need to learn, and then I can decide what tactic is best to use, but honestly, between us, I'm sure that all of this is very reasonably explained somehow.
Well, as I told you, I went and I saw the mages.
I was just on the phone with Fletcher, and he did not mention that you were over at his place, which I find very interesting in and of itself, and I will have a discussion with him about that, but that's for later.
Oh, no need. He told me that you called him before I arrived, rather.
Did he tell you why?
So, if we're going to jump to that level of the conversation, then we can.
Did you want to do small talk first? A little foreplay before we get to fucking, or...
Interesting that you think it's going to go there. No, I guess, was that all of everything that you wanted to hear about my thoughts, or was that enough for you?
We'll revisit Fletcher in a little bit.
Ah, okay, so there is information here that you're still wishing to inquire about.
He goes over and he sits down and crosses his leg and he says, "Yes, and you're holding all of it, so how about I let you start? What's going through your mind, Maud?"
Well, as I was saying, I went and I visited the mages.
Mm-hmm.
They told me some things. And they worried me. Because I felt I needed to be more about my own senses before I made some decisions.
And did you
Thomas, I
make
love
decisions?
you. I love you, but you haven't been truthful with me. I agreed to joining a blood bond with you under the notion that I was going to be treated as an equal, and I was going to be informed as an equal. And so as I'm learning this new information, I feel deceived, so I would like to inquire some answers from you on a level playing field before this conversation continues.
Ask away. I'm an open book.
Are you? Wonderful. What is our clan?
Then true.
Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm. Why would you doubt that?
I've heard a lot in the last 42 hours.
You've heard a lot from people who
Which
have
is
your
funny.
best interest at heart, or...
You know, no one has my best interest at heart. In fact, only I do, as I learned. I thought maybe you had my best interest at heart, but it seems to me that my best interest was not entirely of my own.
Well, that's where you're wrong. I don't have your best interest at heart. Darling, I have our best
Exactly.
interest at heart. It's never been about one or the other. It's always been about achieving goals that made both of us better.
Did you ever ask me my opinions on those goals?
No, because I don't always need your opinion.
And that
What's got
That
you
is the
so
problem.
flustered? The fact that I didn't always ask for your opinion on things, and that I made certain moves and certain plans that benefited you without checking in with you?
No, that's not the the most important part of this, I suppose, but it is a massive part of it. Why didn't you tell me about Annabelle?
Because Annabelle was none of your concern. Annabelle was
See,
old story. You don't always tell your new girl about the old girl. Especially when the old girl has screwed up so badly. And I would call joining the Sabbat screwing up pretty much as badly as you can.
previous failures lead to grand lessons, and I feel that I have been held back from understanding the lessons you have learned. I suppose if we're a team, we should be working together and understanding everything. At least that was my understanding.
Well, let's compare notes for a second. Annabelle ran off and joined the Sabbat and is now dead. And you are here, very much alive, infuriating me a little bit, but nothing that can't be fixed, and about to possibly become the prince of this city. So, do you really think that no lessons were learned and no lessons applied and no greater achievements reached? Or do you think
We're
that...
jumping ahead.
My.
Please, no. Let me allow you to finish.
Can I use your computer for a second?
Fine. If that would help illustrate a point that you're going to make.
I just want to check how my stock's doing. There you go. Grabs a computer. He opens it up. Password.
I aggressively go over, type the password in.
And that's not what I would have thought it was. And he puts a USB key in and he clicks. And he's like, speaking of holding back information, and he presses play. And what plays is a very clearly shot video of you diablerizing Galen.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of you watch as you latch onto Galen and drain him for all you're worth and continue until well past the point where he has any more blood, and he turns into ash and dust on the table before you, and then you look up surprised by something. Then the video cuts.
Maud is not fazed by any of this.
So, I held out on some stuff, you held out on some stuff, and here we are, both of us, way better off than we were before, and about to be even better off. So, I would think that our way of doing things has been pretty successful. Don't you think?
Where did you get this video from? The mages?
Yes, they gave it to me after they told me Annabelle is dead.
Yes, they also folded Redpath into a limousine like origami.
Mages will do that. They're a very excessive kind, especially ones like Kalome, who are terribly insane. Now,
yes, so they gave you a video and you believe it to be true?
well, I don't think I have any reason to believe that it is not, especially since it came with certain requests, and I've, in the interest of sharing, I've already handled these requests, so you should be off the hook for now.
Inform me of what the requests were, that they were able to hold this video in front of you and make you believe that you had true information.
Well, my dear, I, along with a few well-chosen henchmen, killed the prince. Because the only way to put your ass in that seat is if that seat is vacant. And so, here we are, both of us, with secret, both of us with dirty little skeletons in our closets, and all that is left now is for us to move forward.
I am surprised at how confidently you speak of a video given to you by mages. They could show you anything. A room that I stood in had sunlight.
The event was also witnessed by someone that I know.
Hmm.
Did you meet
More
someone named
lies?
Padraig?
You were going to trust him?
Well, I trust you. You're my child.
You
So is
trust
he.
me, and I am trying to inform you that this wasn't true, and you are going to trust him?
He's been my child for much longer than you have.
Okay.
What do you want? How about we skip to that part? The part where you tell me what you want, and I tell you if you can have it or not, and then we just move on.
I've had my fun.
So ready to come
I
back
just
to the
want
house?
truth. Huh?
So you're ready to come back to the house?
Something like it. I needed to know that my feelings were true. I wanted truth from you. Without the blood bond as part of your information that you were giving to me. I would still like that information. But I do feel better connected with my feelings.
We are Ventru. We have been Ventru since the beginning. We will never be anything but Ventru. Now, he reaches down, unbuttons the sleeve of his shirt, rolls it up. If we're done with this little rebellion, we can set to working. We have still quite a bit to do before we can get you where you will do the most good for us, which is the Prince's seat. Things are moving very quickly, and the train is about to leave the station. Maud, and if you want to be on it, now would be a good time to decide. He rolls up his sleeve, and he presents his arm to you.
I feel like at this moment she's leaning against a countertop, like an island, just playing with a wine glass like I am. Will you please leave deception behind us? All of it. I want to make us the most powerful couple. But I need you to help me do that.
He approaches you, pushes himself up against you, just squeezing you against this counter that you're leaning against. Not at all in a threatening way, just very much incredibly. And he reaches up, and with the tip of his finger just touches your chin for a moment and says, "That is exactly what we are and what we're doing." And I think that it's impossible to think that we will not keep secrets from each other here and there, but honestly, as long as what we do moves us forward and gets us what we want, I could not care less about peccadillo and little secrets. They are trivial compared to everything else.
Do you think it is foolish that I find them so important?
I think you worry about the wrong things.
You told me to make moves. Strong choices. I think you were my strongest choice.
Then we're in agreement. Is there anything else I can do now to soothe your mind, or can we get back to work?
I think we can get back to work. And she would take her finger and trace the length of his arm, getting down to his wrist, and pull it up to her mouth. But as she is doing this, I would like to pull a stake from around the corner and try to get him through the back.
Things are escalating. You're gonna have to make me a melee plus strength roll. Or agility, in fact.
Well, okay.
Are you spending some blood maybe to do an arouse check to try and beef
Yes,
up your physical
absolutely.
skills a little bit? Okay, so do a arouse check.
Which I pass. I love that for me.
So you can add your blood potency to your physical stats for this roll.
Right. So, let's see. There's big numbers here I have to play with. I think that's correct. Oh my gosh, gemstone dice. They're so new and fun. Ooh, what a wonderful roll. Oh no.
That sounded like sarcasm.
No, it sounded like a messy critical. So it sounded like.
Do you want to spend a 9 move to avoid the messy critical, or do you want to keep it?
Won't a messy critical help me here?
Messy critical means you get what you want, but it's not really you who won, so it's the beast, so there will be a price to pay. But it will succeed.
That's I don't know. I like that element in this story.
Keeping the messy critical?
7 successes with
and
the
the messy
critical.
Okay.
Yeah.
You swing around, bring the stake, and slam it in his chest. You see, for a moment, disappointment in his eyes. But he doesn't try to stop you. And with 7 successes, you ram that thing right over his heart. And you push it deep, and his blood erupts from his chest, and some of it lands on your face, on the corner of your mouth, and you can taste that scent and that taste that you know so well of his blood. And your hand is shaking on the stake as it protrudes from his chest. And he looks down, and he looks at you. Oh, Maud. This could have been so easy. And he wraps his hand around your hand, and he slowly pulls the stake out of his chest.
What? Well, that's not...
And he twists your
Okay.
hand and pulls the stake out of it, and he drops it on the ground. There are many things you don't know about me, Maud.
Okay.
And that was just the first of them. And now, you're going to find out what some of
Mesmerize.
the other ones are.
Mesmerize.
And as you attempt that, down into the deeper depths of the city, Fiona, you have helped out. I'm sorry, I don't want to go too bar for. Did you want to... I was going to just hand wave the whole use of the power and all that on Fletcher because it's going to work. It's not going to fail. But did you want to have... I don't want to push you forward here. Did you want to have a final moment with Elise, or did Elise want to have a final moment with Fiona? Or because I was just going to skip ahead, but I'm happy to give you.
I had a question for Elise.
Okay. Yeah, please, absolutely go ahead and do that.
Who did this to him?
It was Dubois.
Do you want me to kill him for you?
Not against it, honestly. Sometimes I think people like him deserve much worse, though.
Well, I'll see if I've got enough time for it between finding the saint down in the catacombs and picking up my dry cleaning. How's that?
Thank you, Fiona. Do bring a souvenir if you manage.
I'll save you an ear. Take care, Dove.
You too. Be safe.
I will.
I hope you get what you're looking for.
Me too. Ta for now.
And so following Elise's incredibly detailed map, you've made your way down into the tunnels of Montreal, down into the Forgotten Ones. You remember now part of the trip you made when you went down here the first time. And it is very strange because there are certain places that you remember very clearly, but now they're very different. But Elise's map is correct. Even when you get to a certain part of the tunnel and you're like, I've never seen this place, or this was clearly going in the other direction, or anything like that, the map remains correct. And you follow it down and you eventually end up at this abandoned metro station that you remember from that first time you were here. Station Frère André. It is very much the same as it was when you first saw it. There's still light in here for some odd reason, and that kind of ancient, Art Deco feel to the look of the place is still exactly as it was when you saw this place. Do you tell me a little bit about what you do as you approach this place? Did you prepare anything? Do you bring anything? Do you have, how do you just kind of walk in? Tell me how you approach this.
If I'm recalling correctly, Costa's a son of a bitch that can't be trusted. Alright, well, fuck that guy. I'll kill him later. I think I'd probably have Bruno and a couple other probably foot soldiers that could be close at hand. I certainly wouldn't go in unarmed, if you know what I mean. Vampiric weaponry armed, because of course I'm gonna have that shit. No, I'd be fucking strapped. I'm not an idiot, so.
You'd also give me a rouse check, because we didn't do one for the night.
Rouse this, motherfucker. So, because I've only ever done it on Demiplane, and Demiplane decided, go fuck yourself, Fiona. How do I just roll it by my hand? Because I've never had to do that.
You just roll a d10, and as long as you roll a 6 or above, you're good.
Well, fuck me running. Let's use a Darling Creepshow bloody die, eh? Let's not use a Darling Creepshow bloody die. Did not pass that rouse check, and I can fuck myself.
I think it's, given everything that was going on in the green room earlier, I think that it's perfectly fitting that rolling Darling Creepshow's dice has left you a little hungry.
Well, fuck.
As you are approaching, I'm going to ask you to make me another roll. I'm quite certain that you have the skill aware. Hold on.
I will not.
Intelligence and awareness, please.
Right, hold on. That's 2 plus 2 equals. Can I use an item remove to reroll all my failures on that?
You can use a willpower point to reroll all your failures. 3 of your failures. You can spend 2 9 moves to roll 2 free dice.
Let me use a willpower for now. Yeah, that's much better. That's 2 successes.
As you approach the area, before I tell you what you just discovered with your roll, I'm going to ask you, and no time for will coming in hot with a ton of advantages and short-changing Creep, as always. I mean, it's not Bull if he's not short-changing Creep, so...
Well, I'm used to being bullied by Bull.
We honestly don't have the rights to play Sandstorm right now, so I think that she's probably fine.
Thank fucking God.
You, tell me a little bit, how does Fiona feel after her encounter with Elise?
Melancholic. Because Fiona's only ever had a connection like that once in her life with the woman in the fine suit in a speakeasy in New York. And when that woman came back into her life, she was not the same person that she was. And Fiona wonders if she's ever really known what that feels like. Quite frankly, she feels an affinity towards Elise. And ultimately believes that, despite her weirdness, that she probably has not only Fiona's best interests at heart, but those of the city, or at least she could be willing to ride some things out.
That's on your mind as you descend down into the tunnels, and very barely, with the 2 successes, very barely as you approach, you sense that something's not quite right. There's a sound, the scrape of a shoe or a boot or something, or a whisper you hear echoing down this tunnel, and you realize you're not alone here. What would you like to do?
I'd like to just move a little bit slowly. I think Fiona throws up a fist and stops the folks that are with her, and I'd like to see if I can make out any sounds, or can I get a sense of what or who might be down here.
As you pause and look, you notice something. The shadows are moving strangely in the tunnel. They're not behaving like you would expect them to behave. And in fact, you feel that they're moving in a very concerted manner and are sort of slowly encircling you and your group. You see these shadows kind of just trailing on the ground and kind of crawl up along the walls, and you see your own shadow start to move and warp a little bit as it kind of gets closer to you.
I pause and I turn and look over my shoulder, make eye contact with Bruno, and I mouth, La Sombra.
Bruno says, "What's that?"
Just keep your yap shut and don't get it.
Try. After a moment, you hear a voice drifting towards you from the shadow nearest you, and the voice says, We're not looking to make enemies tonight, but if you've been sent here to interfere with our work, then we will do what we must. But I implore you, unless you have very specific reasons for being down here, I would suggest you take this opportunity that we are giving you to turn around and leave.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're not threatening me right now, because that would be a very bad idea on your part. But if you tell me who you are and what it is you might be doing down here, I might feel inclined to tell you who I am and what I am doing down here.
Your voice is familiar. I believe we might have met before in the oratory. Some night, a few months ago, a number of kindred stepped out of the shadows and found us in the crypts below the oratory, and there were a number of you, but I seem to recall your voice. It is very distinctive with that accent of yours. Am I mistaken?
I don't think you are, but forgive me for my proclivity not to remember names and faces myself. Who are you again?
The shadows near you coalesce, and you see a man emerge from them. You remember this man from exactly that evening when you and the others had been guided by Vico through the shadows and had emerged in the crypts of the oratory. He was there with a number of other Los Sombras. And as he steps out of the shadows, he says, "You're friends with Vico, are you not? I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but mine is Decimus."
I wouldn't necessarily call us friends, no. I think he's slipperier than an eel, but we haven't killed each other yet, so I guess that is a friend.
Well then, if you're friends with him, perhaps we might find common ground here between us. Remind me kindly of your name.
Catherine.
He gives you a smile, like he's not 100% sure he believes that, but he accepts it. And he says, "Catherine, well, just what brings you down here? I'd been led to believe that most people did not know about this place. So you know, I have quite a few friends here with me. They'll remain in the shadows for now, just to keep your friends from getting a little too paranoid, but do understand that I'm not here alone."
You're a La Sombra. I didn't think you were an idiot. An arsehole, but not an idiot.
You have a way with words.
They say I'm quite the poet. I'm looking for something. A friend of mine sent me down here. Gave me an indication of what I might find, but I'm getting a sneaking suspicion that you might be looking for the exact same thing I am here for.
I am simply here because I misplaced my umbrella. Last time I took the train, and, well, I was hoping I would be lucky enough to find it waiting for me here, but I can't seem to find the Lost and Find booth anywhere. Could you direct me?
That's a mite hilarious, considering that the station has been defunct for many years now. So, I'm not buying it. What's your name, and what are you doing here?
Decimus is my name. And yes, I get the feeling that we're not here completely by chance. We're looking for someone also, not an old friend. More... Have you ever seen those stories on the news? Sometimes some elderly patient in a hospice somewhere will forget who they are and walk out of the hospice, and they will find them wandering about without shoes on and with their arse sticking out of their little blue hospital gown, and they're somewhere miles away from where they should be, and I have no clue how they got there. Have you ever heard of those stories?
Who are you, Decimus, and why are you here? I don't really like your anecdotes.
I'm here because one of my elderly kin has wandered out of the place he was kept safely, and is bandying about with his arse sticking out and causing all sorts of trouble, and I would very, very much like to bring him back home and perhaps help him remember who he is and what he can do, and, well, get him better situated.
Oh, so your granddaddy has run off, has he? Interesting. I'm looking for a granddad myself. Have you ever talked to him? He's not a very happy bloke. He'd rather just take a nap, I think.
So I've heard. I've not talked to him myself. I've not had the pleasure. And to be quite frank, I'm not 100% certain that he is who we might think he is. However, in the off chance that he is, I have been working for over 1,000 years to find him and to come to this moment. And Catherine, what I would like to do is be able to take my ailing grandfather back home with me, so that I might remind him of the good old days, remind him of his role in the family, and get him to go and set some of his more wayward children back to order.
I think I'm understanding what you're saying now. But who would your pop be? And who does he think he is?
Does that matter? He either is or isn't. You are here because you think he's something, but my interest now is in knowing what you want out of him. Catherine.
Who he is and who he thinks he is matters a great deal to a great many people of this city. And I'm judging by the cut of your jib that you're not from here. Nor do you really care about whether or not Montreal would survive taking up this granddaddy and bringing him back home. So yeah, I care a lot. And I'll have you know that there are other people out looking for him. He's got a lot of grandbabies.
I would assume that those other people looking for him are not looking for him for the same reasons we are, out of the need to help an ailing grandfather. I have a feeling they want something a little bit more personal out of him.
I'm not at liberty to say. Tell me who he is. Tell me what you want with him. Tell me who he thinks he is. Maybe it'll give you more information, because you're being a bit of a cagey fuck, and I get that you're a La Sombra and shadow magic and creeping around like a fucking pervert in the dark is your favorite activity, but just tell me what I want to know, and I won't kill you.
And as you say that, you see him look over to his left, and Bruno leans into you. He's like, I know you told me to keep my yap shut, but there's someone coming up behind us.
Oh, for fuck's sake, who is it now? Goddamn family reunion down in the pits.
And Decimus says, not my people. And he fades back into the shadows.
Well, turn around.
And as you turn around, we travel back to the house of the Tremere. Elise, after Fiona's help, you saw something very strange. You literally saw time move backwards. You saw Fletcher go back to the way he was earlier in the evening, His skin lost some of its color. He stopped breathing. He seemed to have a little bit more energy and be back to a slightly younger self. Less than a decade older than he appeared. As a kindred, perhaps. And it took a few moments for him to open his eyes again. Is there anything that you would have wanted to do in that meantime? And what else is going through her mind here in the wake of Fiona's visit?
After Fiona left, Elise would have crawled back into her spot on the bed, her hand on Fletcher's chest, watching him in awe of Fiona's power, trying to understand what kind of magic this is, what she is. But something clicks in Elise's mind that Fiona has given her a very precious gift. Because now she can fulfill her promise with Fletcher. And she waits quietly as he rouses at her side. She's smiling. It's not a bright, happy, bubbly smile. There's a soft sadness still inside of her eyes. But she smiles at him nonetheless.
Eventually he opens his eyes and looks about. My darling, what just happened?
Fiona came to visit.
And what did Fiona do to me?
I'm not sure, but she turned back time. An hour, she said she gave. Have you ever heard of a kindred who could do that?
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
I don't know, my darling. I can tell you that I looked into her aura and it was strange. It was like no other aura I've seen before. It was as though she felt feelings, but they weren't quite her or attached to her. But it's very strange. And then she exchanged an hour of your life for a favor. It's very generous of her, really. Don't you think?
What favor? What favor does she ask for?
She asked about the saint under the city. She asked what he was like and where she could find him, and I drew her a map.
See 2 + 2 lining up to make 776,000 in his mind. And he says, well then. Seems
I did it for you. For
Oh,
us.
you did well, darling. Please don't think that in any way, shape, or form I'm cross with you or that you made any kind of mistake. You did well. I just find it interesting that so many things that we thought were simply myths are aligning and coming to life here and now. I think the power in Twas ritual, what we've been trying to accomplish, has woken up, stirred up a lot of dormant things. Very interesting, but
What do you think she is?
I mean, I don't know. There are rumors of a clan of Bruja descendant from Troil himself, not the usurper, who are the original Bruja, the true Bruja. They were rumored to have disappeared sometime around the fall of Carthage, but they were, as I said, rumored to have honed their discipline of celerity to the point where time was malleable to them. But the things their coming represent are far beyond us at this point. I feel blessed that Fiona was here to do what she did, and whatever their plans are immaterial to us at this point.
She believes that the saint under the city is Cain.
Seems far-fetched to me, but honestly, stranger things have been happening. It would align Lilith, Cain, Gehenna, the true Bruja, all the portents that we thought were perhaps lies or myth or he reaches over and grabs your hands. Regardless, these things have become way bigger than us, and they're not things that we can meddle with. We have to let those things happen as they will. We can only focus on what we have here and what we can affect, and I take it this reprieve that Fiona has given me will not last very long.
I'm afraid not.
How long do we have?
Before she turned back time, it had been only a few moments that you had turned into a human. She said that we would have an hour turned back. So perhaps 45 minutes or so, but you know I'm not ever very well with time.
Which just confirms to me that you're not a true Bruja, which is so much better for the two of us, but we have the opportunity to transform this hour into a much longer time if you'll keep your promise that you made to me.
I was so afraid that I was going to lose the opportunity. And I'm so glad for it to have it now.
Before we begin, Elise, I took you in hand and we grew together beyond what either of us could have achieved on our own. Now, you need to take Marjolaine in hand and do the same with her. You are me and she's you. Show her what we have seen. Carry forward. I know enough to know that if you do what I asked you to do, it will be impossible for you to conduct the ritual and to ever achieve the kind of peace we talked about. And so you would be given up a lot. And I want you to make that decision. I want you to know exactly what it entails, and I want you to make the decision that is best for you.
Is it selfish of me to say that there is no peace for me without you?
I've tasted the peace of the beast being quiet for a few moments, and it was the second most beautiful thing I've ever felt next to you, and I would not take that away from you if that is what you want. But The choice is yours to make, and I will abide by whatever choice you make.
I cannot be apart from you. My soul cannot be torn from yours. Not in this world or any other. You are mine and I am yours. And whatever I must do, whatever I must forsake to keep that fire burning, I will forsake it all for you.
Then do what you need to do. We have been intertwined in our souls since even before we knew of each other, and will continue to be so, but if in this way I can be just a fraction of an inch closer to you.
Will you do me the honor of making love to me one last time?
Honestly, you'd be doing me the honor as well. I'm on my deathbed, it seems, and they say that when you reach this point, you become keenly aware of what mattered most to you in life. And there's nothing else I would rather be doing with the last few moments I have. Then he reaches out and pulls you close to him.
She goes to him easily, crawling over top of his body, leaning down to kiss him, pulling away to look at him.
It doesn't matter what you look like now, or that your skin feels old. I'll always remember you as that strange man who came into my shop, who watched me paint and showed me the world.
And the things that stand out this time, for the amount of times that the two of you have made love or been intimate in any way, what stands out the most this time is not the things that you might think that normally tend to stand out. It's his hand on your hip and his thumb, you notice, on the hollow of your hip bone, and you realize for the first time that whenever he holds you like this, that's where his thumb goes. You'd never realize that, but that is what you notice now. You notice the way the corners of his mouth curl, almost as if he's smiling when he kisses you. The scent of his hair. Those are the things that stay with you in this particular moment. What do you do, Elise? As you join each other, as you have done so often, but in a way that is both more joyful and sadder than it has ever been before.
Elise sinks down into him, envelops her body in him one last time, and then sinks her fangs deep into his neck. The last kiss she'll ever steal from him.
He loses himself in you, and you feel him, all of him, slip inside of you and infuse you with his very soul, in fact. Now, there are terrible things to do, like make rolls and whatnot, but we'll save that for later. You wish that there could be a million more hours, perhaps. And it seems to take such a long time, but as you drink deep from him, as you feel him disappear inside of you, you feel something else happen. A tingling on your skin, on your body. And as you take the last of him and see the smile on his face, you feel all the ink and silver etched into your skin from his tattooing slowly starts to seep. All this black and silver liquid slowly seeping out of your skin, rolling down in rivulets along your body, pooling on the bed beneath you, where the remains of his body now turned to ash are. And in moments, your skin is as it was before you met him. Completely bare. What do you do?
She picks up a vase from the nightstand, upturns it, and dumps whatever fresh flowers someone has placed in there for her. There's always fresh flowers in the house. And very carefully, she collects those ashes mixed with the silver inside of it as much as she can. And she lays down on the bed, hugs that vase, and very quietly says,
Fletcher, are you here?
There's a moment that passes. And then you hear, hesitant, but growing stronger, his voice. And he says, I told you, did I not? That not even death would come between us.
Not even death.
And as you lay there, listening to his voice so much closer to you than it has ever been, I am wondering which of our two other companions now feel ready to have their moment.
Sorry, making everybody cry.
Maud,
What's up?
you
Excuse me.
You okay? Is everybody good, by the way? Is everybody okay? Does anyone need to take a break?
Just art. Art. Yeah. Just appreciating some art. I'm good.
You go to... Was it Mesmerize you were about to use?
Yeah, right. Where was I? Yes. Mesmerize. Tell him to stop.
And that dreaded messy critical.
Dreaded. Wonderful.
As you look to him and uttered a command for him to stop, you realize that some of the blood that had sprayed on you when you stabbed him and had covered your forehead drips down into your eyes. And for a moment you're blinded by his blood.
Ugh.
And you feel his hand wrap around your throat as he picks you up and says, "This is not how I wanted it to end." And he almost negligently flips you across the room. You go flying, crash into the wall opposite him, and he was very smart and he aimed you at the inner wall, the one that's built out of concrete. And as you slam against it with incredible force, you feel bones move in your body, you feel your skin lacerate, you feel blood start to pour. You crumple to the floor. You open your eyes, wipe them away from the blood. You see he's rolling up the other sleeve on his shirt. He's pointedly not looking at you. He's looking at your core, not at your face.
Oh.
As he walks over slowly.
I'm going to tell him to stop again, using the power of Melpomene, because I don't need eye contact.
Go ahead and make your roll.
Gladly. How much damage am I taking from the wall, by the way?
It'll be negligible. It's not aggravated, so it'll be negligible. You'll be able to heal it fairly easy enough. You're just kind of stunned by it a little bit.
I'll take that. So am I just rolling the mesmerize that doesn't include presence because of the Melpomene, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just making sure. Rouse check for mesmerize. Passed. Really feeling good about that. I would like to use a night move.
Mm-hmm.
That gives me how many dice?
2 dice.
Wonderful. Okay. That is 6 successes.
What was your command?
My command was to make him stop. And additionally, I guess I also want to use cloud memory to try and get him to forget that.
You say stop, and he says no, and he knees you in the face and your head slams back into the wall behind you. You feel, again, bones going in your neck and the back of your head, and he presses his knee down into your chest and presses you up against the wall, and he brings his hand down and grabs a fistful of your hair, and he pushes your head back so that you're looking up at him, and he says, "That's not gonna work either. What else do you have, Mon? What else do you have to take control of this situation? You can go ahead and try it all, and then when you're done, I'll do what I have to do. You had a golden opportunity, and you decided to squander it. I've started from nothing with you after Annabelle, and I will start again if I have to. I would rather not. But unless you're done playing games, I'm afraid that's what I'm going to have to do, so you're going to need to go ahead and make up your mind right now. If there's anything else you want to do.
I guess I'm just going to try again.
This time, when you do it, I want you to make a different roll.
Okay.
I want you to make a manipulation. Plus your choice of either persuasion or subterfuge.
Persuasion. I'll use more night moves.
Go for it.
Sorry. Oh, where my pen is. Okay. This is a lot of dice. I'm using 2. I guess that's all of my dice. We let it rock. Okay, there we go. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. Hold on, there's a lot of math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 10 with a critical. Normal critical.
You look up at him, you feel...
Oh, I'm sorry, 11.
You feel for a moment, you feel the kind of helplessness that you've felt before in situations like this kind of self-doubt, and we're wondering, do you in fact have what it takes to do this? And you're looking up at him, and you're trying to reach deep down inside of you to try and find the strength to make him stop, even though you know it's not going to work, because he's clearly has something about him that protects him from that. And as you do that, you feel a rush that you normally associate with your blood kind of moving through you. And you notice that he's not moving, and he's staring at you, his eyes wide open. And he's not moving. Still holding your hair, pressing against you, but
what does this read like?
he seems fixated on your eyes.
Mechanically, can you explain what's happening?
He is staring into your eyes, and something there is making him immobile, freezing him in place.
Oh, wonderful. Then, with this, I would like to mesmerize him.
You know mesmerize is not going to work. It's not working. He
what about
is
terminal
very
decree?
The problem is that he has a very high degree of resistance to dominate because of a merit.
Okay.
So you have, right now, you have him locked up. You don't know what's happening. You don't know why. But you've got him kind of frozen in his track. You know that the dominate's not going to work. And you know that staking him apparently is not going to work either. No,
nothing's working.
But you find that whilst you're staring at him in the eyes, he's frozen in place.
Right.
What would you like to do?
I mean, my trump card was my terminal decree. But if that doesn't work, then I want to be prince and I want to kill him. Oh.
You're still on the ground beneath him.
Yeah.
Looking up at him. You find that when you move your head, his eyes stay fixed on yours.
Should I give Galen a new friend?
When you start thinking that, you hear him say, "You don't get what's happening, do you?"
I don't.
The window behind him, without breaking your glance with him, take a look at yourself. I told you earlier I wanted to see things through your eyes.
Okay.
When you look over his shoulder at your reflection, you see that your eyes have changed. They now look like the eyes of a snake.
I see.
When I told you earlier that Galen had attached himself to me, that he'd given me his heart, I actually meant that literally. His heart is in a clay jar. I can take you to it, and once you have it, you can kill him, you can control him. You will literally have his heart in your hand. But to be able to do that, you have to get out of the apartment without breaking eye contact, because if he frees himself from this, he is going to just kill you.
You know, the tutorial would have been so helpful before he showed up.
I find that lessons are always best learned on the field.
See, that's what I was trying to tell him. Do I have the ability to move? I mean, he's kind of on top of me.
You can. He cannot do anything physically, so you can extricate yourself. You have to not break eye contact with him.
Okay, other than saying I don't break eye contact with him, is there another challenge that you would like to present to me about maintaining that, or can I just do so?
I'm going to have it be a challenge, I think, because those are always a lot of fun. You're going to make a composure plus, make this interesting. You're going to make a composure plus subterfuge roll.
Okay. And how many night moves do I have left? I've spent 3 of them. I will use
like
at least one. I have yes. I think I have 3.
You have 5 left.
I have 5 left? Okay. Is that correct? I think I had 7.
I'm pretty sure
So
that.
then I would have...
But you used 2 not too long ago. Varl is pretty on top of things. I think you can trust Varl.
Okay. Okay. Then I will use 1 now, which should leave me at 4 then. Okay, that is correct. Okay. Four successes.
As you move towards the door, keeping his eyes locked, and you see that he's turning and following you as you do, you hear Galen's voice say, "Now what you're going to do is you're going to run out of here, and you're going to run as fast as you can, and you're going to go to his car, and you're going to command his driver to take you to my home. And once you're there, we'll tell you where you find his heart. He's going to come after you, but he's going to be on foot. It's going to take him a moment or two. I'm going to tell you where you can find his heart. But here's the deal. You cannot do to him what you did to me, because I will not be locked up in here with him. You can kill him. You can throw his heart in the fire. You can put a piece of wood in it to stake him. You can use it to lord it over his head and control him. Be smart, but do not do to him what you did to me. And I will tell you where his heart is, and then you can do whatever you want with him. He will be your puppet."
I'm waiting for one more word. Starts with a P or en français, S.
Porridge. Now. Go.
Ugh. Okay.
You dart for the door. As you close it behind you, you hear him scream your name, but you're running down that hall. Down in the metro system, Fiona, you know very well who's coming up behind you. As you turn to take a look, you can't see, but you know it's going to be your family. You know they've followed you to find what they're looking for. And as you take that in, you hear a whisper from the shadows next to you. "Catherine, we don't know each other. Whatever decision you make now, you'll have to make with your gut. I don't know what their plan is. You do. I want to bring him home, remind him who he is, and use him to stop the elders who are currently killing every last one of us in the East and will eventually make their way here. I have been following his trail for 1,000 years, and it has led me here to find him now. And the only thing standing between me and him is you. And I cannot give you assurances, and I cannot make you any promises other than I want to use him to stop the Ancient Ones. Only he can do it. It's up to you.
You're right. I don't know you. And right now, coming down that metro tube is my family. The people who taught me what I know now. The people who... Well, raised is not the right word, is it? But... family. It's complicated, isn't it? Presented with what you should do. And instead of waxing poetical, I'll just say this. If I let you take him, and you do anything other than what you just told me you're going to do with him, if you unleash Gehenna, if you kill us all, believe me, the hell I will bring to your doorstep would make Gehenna quake in its boots. You will never even know you existed. Do you understand me?
I have no reason to doubt you.
Very well. I'd say so much for family values, but anyone who abandons someone else and lets them figure it out on their own and then knocks on their door years later and says, "We're home," that's not a fucking family. And Fiona turns down the hall and freezes the true Bruja in place.
Elise. You didn't notice time passing. But eventually you realize day must have come and gone. And you slept. In the bed and the ashes and the ink and the silver. With his voice, speaking to you softly and gently, lulling you to sleep. And it's the first thing you hear in the morning, rather than the night when you wake up the next night. Did you sleep well, love?
Did I sleep? Oh, must have lost time again.
Well, we've lost a few things in the past few hours. But we've gained some time. We at least have that.
What's it like in there?
She's like trying to roll her eyes back into her own head, as though if she did and she succeeded, she could see him inside her mind.
He says, it's filled with all the beauty and the light and the color that I could never see until you came into my life. And that you rendered so vividly for me. And now I get to see it firsthand, every day and every night.
You were always such a poet. And tell me, do you feel this?
And she like reaches into her pants.
And after a moment, you feel something twitch inside of you. And he says, not quite sure I'm getting it. You might have to keep doing it for a little while and we'll see what happens.
Well, good, then we shall still have our fun then.
Maud, you are kneeling on the floor of the sub-basement in Galen Redpath's mansion. It has been abandoned and emptied. You have pulled out planks with your bare fingers who are now bleeding, ripped to shred, with bones in places peeking through the flesh, and you have dug through the hard-packed earth that was there. And you have found this clay jar engraved with images of Egyptian gods and snakes. hieroglyphs. It is sealed in wax. And as you hold it, you feel the weight of it. Something inside, small enough that it rattles a little, but feels incredibly heavy. What do you do?
I can use it to control. I need him to make me prince, right?
Galen says, you never needed him for anything. You just thought you did, and he made you believe you did.
When I say that, I mean speaking as the whatever he has in place. Is he necessary for that?
Well, I don't know what his plans were, but you have friends.
Whereabouts do you think he is?
Running like a madman somewhere halfway between here and your apartment. You
Tragic.
will have work to do. You will have opposition. You will have obstacles. You will have allies. You will have to earn it. But you can take it. You just have to decide what you do with that thing in your hand before he gets here. If you want to use it to control him, you need to hide it somewhere he can't find it, but you can get to it. If you want to kill him, you just need to toss it in the fire. If you want to immobilize him, you can put a piece of wood through it here and now.
That's what I'm thinking of. I or at least had the opportunity to delay my decision on what I actually want to do with him, but
there are pieces of plank there. You could use that. I would suggest you wait until he gets here so that he doesn't
exactly
fall
my
to the ground.
thought.
I have a feeling we're going to get along, Maud.
I always had a feeling that we would get along. Just such a shame that we've only had to come to that conclusion now.
Well, sometimes you need to get folded into origami by a mage before you know what you really want in life.
It's true. And sometimes you shouldn't really be underestimating the people around you that are supporting you. But c'est la vie. Yeah, I think I will, if I have enough time, position myself like piece of wood to heart right by the door, so in a comical turn of events he can push through the door and then because we need something to balance the heartache.
And so you stand there, the stake in one hand, his heart in the other.
Far enough away they can't do anything. It's like immediate.
And you wait
Oh, loopholes.
to hear his footsteps on the floor above your head. And Fiona, you stand outside the tunnels. The La Sombra are gone now. They took someone with them. You left before the rest of your family would find their way in there. You're standing on top of the Baron Five Roses building, looking at the city seeing the cross beyond on the mountain, seeing the city as it glitters in the last few hours before dawn, you know that Irene will find you sooner or later. She will know what you did. What's going through your mind as you stand there taking all this in and thinking about the decisions that you've made?
I take a pack of cigarettes out of my pocket. I turn to Bruno. You got a light?
Yeah, I think, hold on, I had a big here earlier. Oh,
for fuck's sake, man.
I quit smoking. He pulls out of his pocket a pack of Nicorette gum. Try these.
Quit smoking in Montreal, that's fucking hilarious.
Not like we can smoke in any bar except yours.
Well, some people need to wise up.
Oh, yeah. Here, a couple of matches left. He hands them to you.
Fucking finally. Actually, would you do the honors, please?
Sure. And he strikes it and he holds it up to the cigarette.
She lights it, takes a long drag, looks out over the city. This place is a hellhole. But it's my hellhole. All that talk of family. The people who support you. Well, plenty of kids get shipped off to boarding school to get learned. That's certainly what Irene did with me. Dangling a carrot in front of my face. Wielding power. This place is my home. We're as close as I've gotten to any home in my entire life. So, consequences be what they may. I'm at peace with my call. I'm happy knowing Elise, in her weird, fucked up way, could be happy. And as much as I don't trust Vico further than I could throw him, which from here actually could be pretty far, I'd like to see Margot succeed at something. Win at something. Find a path for herself. And that's family.
In Montreal, the nights have always carried more than shadows. They carry the weight of history, one filled with majestic highs and abysmal lows. They carry stories, whispers of hope, hunger of the fragile dreams that bind us to one another. Even the immortals, especially them, sometimes learn that eternity is but shackles without a dream to cling to. Like the mountain, every soul here, living or dead, bears a cross. Some are carved by ancient sins, others by the choices we make in the half-light of our darkest hours. Sacrifice is the one language the city understands better than all others. It echoes in the valleys, in the alleys of VtM Montreal, in the quiet snowfall along the plateau, in the steady heartbeat of the St. Lawrence. The city listens, it feels, it dreams alongside its people. But dreams are fragile, evanescent things. When the powerful poison them with greed and corruption, when they twist hope into something sharp and hollow, the city becomes a battleground not of fangs and fire, but of fractured hearts. And no dream, human or monster, can survive for long in a place where its people stand divided, clutching at selfish wants instead of reaching toward one another. The winter nights in Montreal are long, cold, and dark, and selfishness and fear make for poor bedfellows. In the end, Montreal reminds us of a truth older than any vampire's curse. A city is built of dreams and fears, of hopes and disappointments, and only as alive as the compassion of those who call it home. And when that compassion falters, when Community gives way to solipsism and cruelty, despotism and cowardice, lies and selfishness. Even the brightest hopes can fade. The sweetest dream turn to nightmare. The taste of pleasure and joy turn to ash and regret. Still, somewhere in the dark a spark endures, feeble and waning as it may be. It always does, because cities are living things. Because some of us still have grace. Because as long as there are those willing to carry their crosses with this grace, the sacrifice for something greater than themselves, Montreal will keep dreaming. And perhaps, one night, its people will remember how to dream together again. But for tonight, the cross on the mountain shines down on a glittering sepulchre. The buildings and their bright lights, the neon epitaph of all those who once dreamt, but dare dream no longer. This has been Vampire the Masquerade, Montreal Elegy. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you to all my players for playing. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you very much. And on that note, my friends.
Thank you, Bleak.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bubs.
Thank you.